My name is Simon Benjamin. I'm a director and a designer. I mainly focus on the production of TV commercials, music videos most recently, and branding for big TV networks like HBO and Showtime, Cartoon Network, things like that. I've been living in New York for the past 10 years, living and working there. And it's been an interesting journey. My path wasn't exactly super clear and super straightforward. It took me a while to figure out what exactly I wanted to do with myself. But before, I guess, I go too much into that, I'll show you a little bit of my work. Here's 3 projects that were pretty fun. One for the New York Times. They started a new section called Conversations, one in the newspaper, one for Nike for a running campaign they had in Montreal. It was a global campaign, but I got put on the Montreal section. And another music video, which I'm pretty proud of, for the record label Brainfeeder. One of their artists, Taylor McFerrin, who's coming up pretty fast. I'm sure you guys are going to hear of him soon. So I'll just let you guys check it out. There we go.
Hear what some of today's most interesting people have to say in candid conversations about their passions and their lives. Only on nytimes.com. Conversations.
Don't talk about it. Oh boy, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. If you do, I'll cry. Don't come around me. Oh Lord, don't come around me. Don't come around me.
Thank you. So, not as beautiful as Jamaica's beaches, but I was shot in New York. A little bit more about me. I love the beach, as you can see. I'm an avid surfer, a photographer. I love cooking and eating, and I'm soon to be an uncle, which is pretty exciting. So, but yeah, back to the work. Like I said, I wasn't always sure what I would do with myself. I've been drawing and doodling in books forever, but I, couldn't figure out a way to channel that. The first design project I ever had was in school. I didn't even realize it, but I've pretty much been a designer almost all my life. This was when I was 7 years old. I won an island-wide contest to design for healthy eating in Jamaica. And being a lifelong Bob Marley fan, ever since I can remember, it was clear I had to do something related to that. And I came up with a slogan, "Let's get together and eat all right," based on one love. And I won first prize. So that was my first design project. And later on, I did some other stuff at school, at Priory in prep school. Redesigned the entrance of the school, which was burnt down by arsonists. And it was crazy. They were pretty crazy, pretty liberal at Priory, and they let a 9-year-old come up with with a with the idea for what the entrance of the school should look like. This was my then and now design. This is what it was looking like now, and I was like, this is what you need, like with a pond and everything. But they didn't do the pond, but they're pretty much what it looks like is based, right now is based on that design. Kind of crazy, young, like 9-year-old. But so, it would seem clear that, where my path should go, but it didn't, I have some design abilities, I could like to draw, but it wasn't super clear. And when I got a little bit older and my drawing skills weren't really fully appreciated, like this is my notebooks from you can see, I was into it, just not into the schoolwork. They're quite thin because I pulled out all the pages from the drawings, but anyway. So from Priory, I went to Campion and, did my thing there on my notebook, and I still didn't really know what to do with myself, I kind of, it's weird, but like being a young person in Jamaica with creativity, like in them, we're in this kind of society where people don't always know what to do with it, and imagination is kind of at the core of all of this. And imagination, I feel, is one of Jamaica's most untapped resources. We have a mountain of all this imagination that we don't really know how to channel it. We haven't fully figured it out. And I think that, if we could channel this imagination, we could create a lot of wealth within the country. Whoops, gone ahead. So I went to UWI after Campion because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with myself. I couldn't figure out a way to work my imagination into my career. I looked around and I saw, at the time, it's like creative careers, what should I do? I looked around and it seemed like all of it kind of even involved struggling and suffering in the end. And I wasn't really into the idea of struggling and suffering. That noble artist thing wasn't really appealing to me. So I decided, okay, since I'm not sure what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to UWI. And I'm going to study management studies. And at least, I didn't really want to work for anybody either. That was something I had in my head from an early age. My dad reminded me. And so, I was like, I'm going to UWI and I'm going to study management studies. And went through that, and I realized later that also, can result in struggling and suffering. So no guarantee against it. So I go through UWI, shuffling through, not really enthusiastic about it, but just kind of doing it, whatever. I was throwing parties, making good money off of that, way before pay parties were like the big thing they are now. And I was designing the flyers and posters for them, which was like the highlight of throwing the party. But anyway, so all of this kind of changed one summer when I met Shawn Henry. Some of you guys might know him as Aya. He used to make like the best T-shirts in Jamaica, as far as I'm concerned, back in the day. He had a good run from like the mid-'80s to like the mid-'90s, and it was seriously Jamaican, really smart little quotes and like a lot of Rasta imagery that appealed to me for some reason, and it really stuck with me. So I meet Shawn Henry while I'm at UWI, and I convince him he needs to give me a job because this is what I want to do. He's a cool young guy. His business is still going. At this time, he shifted towards more of like a screen printing company, but he did a lot of design work. So he took me under his wing, and he really invested time in, teaching me how to use a computer and getting me, up to speed with what was going on at the time. So this kind of consumed me, and I go back to UWI, and I was like, all right, cool. I'm just going to finish this degree and then figure something out. When I got out of UWI, Shawn offered me a job, which I quickly took. He said he couldn't pay much at the time, but, money is not really everything when it comes to your personal happiness, when you're doing something you love. So I worked with him for about a year and a half, and I was super happy. I was just, there's Shawn back in the day in the office with the old school computers. Anyway, so we were having a good time there, and a year and a half later into work, Shawn comes to me and is like, yo, if you want to do this full time, I think you need to go back to school. I was like, school? He's like, yeah, you need to go back to school if this is what you want to do. And I was like, all right, well, I heard him out, and he managed to convince me that it was a good thing to do. So a few months later, I find myself on a plane to New York. And, sounds glamorous, but unbeknownst to me, I was headed to a life of waiting tables and unknown roommates, windowless bedrooms, which Nick Scott got me out of in Harlem and moved to beautiful Brooklyn. And, and so, yeah, it was wonderful. I moved to New York, unfortunately, 2 weeks before 9/11. And of course, I had the great luck of living about 10 blocks away, or I should say, crashing on somebody's couch about 10 blocks away from the Trade Center. Saw the second plane hit. I had to do Indiana Jones style, running down the street, plumes of smoke and ash behind me. I mean, I was pretty happy with the way things was going. I was chilling at Lime Key regularly, This is my thing. And then I find myself running down the street running for it and thinking I should have never moved to Babylon. I know it was a bad idea. It's never. And so, regardless, funny enough, in the end, that experience created a certain bond with me and the city that is kind of unshakable. It's I have my on and offs with it, but New York is second home for me, always will be. So I'm in New York City, and I'm in a school that it's built to work your imagination, where we have professors that are in the field working, and it's not just theory. These are real people teaching you what practical things in the real world. That was a really helpful tool, and I was really enthusiastic about school, which is something I hadn't been in a long time. I was participating and really going at it and really into it, and school offered me an opportunity to meet all these interesting people. Took advantage of all of them, and I got opportunity to intern at a lot of big companies and with teachers that were really amazing. And one of the things I realized is that, you're interning in a company, and we have this idea here that would never work in some of the companies I've worked with. There is young people should be seen and not heard. Picnics should be seen and not heard. I think that's that way of thinking is a huge problem we have in the country that we need to change. We need to listen to our young people. So I'm brought in on conference calls with the CEO or the president of MTV, and they want to know what I think. I'm the most junior person in the place. I'm not even getting paid. I'm an intern. But still my ideas were always valued. And that's something that that's the type of attitude we need to have. We need to value what our younger people have to say. So, Shawn valued it when I was at ION. I did a lot of actual practical work. I wasn't getting him coffee or cleaning his office. So we need to really place some value in our young people. There's a wealth of imagination out there that we're not tapping into, and that whole pool of imagination lies within our young people. So we should really listen to them. Next point. So how I think we can improve and kind of get things going for us is listening to the young people, but older people, we need to, us older guys who have been around, we need to like foster the environment for young people to feel that they can feel free to contribute. That's one really important thing, you have to really get in there and let them feel like they can contribute. And for the younger people, we need to really take the time to learn from the older people, what they've done, from their failures, their successes, and try to build upon it. Feel free to contribute. Like, don't be intimidated by people. Put your idea out there. Use your imaginations, and all the things that are coming up in your head, put them out there. It's so critical, because innovation happens, as other people will mention, through being creative and using your imagination. So we really need to foster that environment for the younger people, so they can feel like they can contribute. I can't imagine like what Jamaica would look like if we really invested our time in developing younger people's skills, whatever it is. I don't see why we shouldn't be like the biggest, the new biggest cuisine. Why isn't Jamaican food like up there with Chinese, the French, or the Indian food? It should be out there just as much. I mean, if you think about the biggest thing that has added value to this country, it would be the imaginations of 3 young men, right? 3 young men that came from, Trenchtown, Bob, Peter, and Bunny. I mean, clearly they've put Jamaica on the map. No matter where you go in the world, the first thing somebody says, like I said, I'm an avid traveler. When you go anywhere in the world, the first thing they say is Bob Marley. It's like, it's guaranteed. So, I mean, we need to identify, we need to look like Chris Blackwell did, and look and see, okay, there's something that we can, cultivate, create the space for them. In his case, it was probably giving them 4,000 or 8,000 pounds or something, and getting them to like get their imagination flowing onto wax, onto records. So we really just need to give them a chance, give younger people a chance. And younger people, you need to get in there and just feel free. Just make sure, don't be held back by, the seen but not heard type thing, attitude that's going on. We really just have to move past that. And, I think the amount of wealth and amount of, creativity will follow that. Just keep on going at it. So, at the end of the day, following your imagination and investing in our people is just going to be critical to any kind of forward movement in this super fast changing world. We have to invest in young people. We can't stick to the same old ideas. So just follow your imaginations, listen to them, develop them, let them put them out there, and let's see where it will take us. Thank you very much.